the second time around, we always do things a little differently. Hello and welcome back to Veggie Magnifique, your go-to for holistic wellness and a healthy vegan lifestyle. Today we'll be discussing my minimalist newborn essentials as a second-time mom. Have things changed? Certainly. Are we struggling to remain minimalist with 2 kids? Yes, but we shall prevail. My husband's looking at me like, we shall prevail. But before we get into my minimalist essentials, a quick word. The key to being a minimalist parent, and I'm realizing this even more the second time around, is to not believe the hype. You just don't need everything that everyone's telling you that you need. That the newborn registry is telling you need, the baby shower registry that everyone else is telling you need. You might not need what I'm telling you that you need. It's very personal. And the inconvenient thing about this, of course, is that until you start momming, it's hard to know what you'll need when momming. You can only really guess if you're a first-time mom. But I'm gonna try to help you in that regard with things that I have learned that are absolutely necessary versus stuff that's, you know, nice to have, but isn't essential. The thing is we all mom differently. We are all different, and we all are going to, like, for example, I mommed differently the first time, right? So do the best you can, right? But we're all different, so we're all gonna have different essentials, but I really hope that these essentials are going to help you, especially if you're a first-time mom. So today I'll be covering clothes, where to put baby for sleeping and hanging out, feeding, and elimination. So first up is clothes. Let's talk about clothes. Now this part has changed for me. So before I was all about the nightgown. It's because you could just pull it up, change your baby, and push it down. But the thing about the nightgown is that if you're baby wearing, and I'm gonna talk about that more later, you have to change the baby because you can't, you know, wear baby in a nightgown because their legs are all out and whatnot. So you need something on their legs. You can't like ride a horse with a skirt. That makes no sense. You could side saddle. Well, you can't side saddle with your baby. I guess you could if you were doing a ring sling, but I'm not a ring slinger. So anyway, here's the thing with the nightgown. If your baby is wearing a nightgown, you have to change them before they get into baby carrying mode. And that is just more futzing, and when you have 2 kids, you don't have time for that. So if you're just gonna have 1 kid, maybe you'll have more time to like change their clothes 65 times. But what I have absolutely been loving, I know that's a new way of speaking, what I've been loving. So what I've been using this time are these, and I swear by these, are these fantastic bamboo jammies from Little Sleepies. So here's what's great about these jammies. What's great about the jammies is that A, they're super soft, B, they grow with your children, C, you can put on the feet or take off the feet, which is really important. That makes no sense. The socks. You're keeping the feet intact. And then the mittens come on and off as well, because that's what you need, right? You need to be able to have, my cat is saying hi, you need to be able to have that functionality with your baby. And in the beginning, when you have a newborn, in my opinion, you do not want a 5-piece suit. You don't. They're sleeping, they're eating, they're pooing, and often all at the same time. So really you need zipper jammies, and you need zipper jammies that zip from the bottom up so that middle of the night changes are easier. You don't want to be buttoning 65 buttons in the middle of the night. You want zipper from the bottom and, you know, both ways, right? Or you can get those kind of like infinity zipper things that like zip from the bottom. I really like those. The only downside is that those ones you have to pull over the head. Whereas if you have the zipper up the chest, then you don't have to pull it over the baby's head. So I'm not a believer in onesies and pants and socks because your baby just doesn't need it. Your baby is gonna need some sort of like warm thing to go outside, but if you live in a cold climate. But the essential are the zipper jammies that you can put the socks on and put the mittens on that you can wear with baby carrying. And I really like the ribbed bamboo Little Sleepies ones. I swear by them. They're fantastic. They're super soft. Because the thing is, you know, a lot of the organic cotton ones, which, you know, I used to use a lot more, is that the feet are usually sewn on so that they don't last very long. They're not as soft. And also the Burt's Bees, although they're great, they don't zip from the bottom, which is a huge downside, really. So my recommendation, a zip from the bottom. Don't futz around with a onesie and a pantsies and all those kinds of things because, you know, your baby's just sleeping all day. I mean, if you're taking your baby to meet, I don't know, someone special and you want them to be in like a cute little outfit, that's you. I personally think that the jammies are just as cute. I think that baby is cute. So since we are minimalists, we do not want 65 things. 65 is my favorite number these days. We want one thing that does multiple things, that grows with your child. Voila. Simplify your life. That's my biggest tip here. So we were speaking about baby wearing. Let's talk about that. Where to put your baby. So I am a big fan of baby wearing. The Solly baby has been excellent. My friend gave it to us for Edgar, and then we've just obviously used it for baby number 2. Now, baby's super large now, and so the Solly baby isn't exactly the right fit, but newborn wise, I highly recommend a cloth wrap. The Solly baby has worked well for us. It's a little bit of origami up front, but it's not that hard to figure out, and once you figure it out, you're fine. Now, the beauty of baby wearing is that baby is happy because baby's on you. Baby's a newborn, baby wants to be with you on your body. And you have your hands free because you're wearing baby, you're not holding baby, so you can do things. Now, as a second time mom, this is even more important. Otherwise, nothing would get done ever. And thirdly, you know, like skin to skin, body to body, like I said, it's very important. And so this is really my recommendation until baby gets too big and your shoulders get angry. And then you enlist your husband to carry baby. Now, the Solly baby is not the most manly of carriers. My husband's like, lower than that. So we have been using the Baby Bjorn from like 1996 that we got as a hand-me-down. He likes that one. I actually like that one too. It's racerback. I just can't do the ones that pull your shoulders forward, and the ones that click-clack in a racerback is also too much futzing. So find a carrier that you like, a cloth one, and then find a more structured one. Now, on the topic of carriers, once baby gets a little bigger and you can back carry, now you can rucksack carry from newborn. That's what people have been doing all over the world forever, but it's a little tricky and you gotta practice, and I haven't had the time to do that in a way that made me feel comfortable. There's a video tutorial all about it. I can link it for you. It's called the rucksack carry. You need a more strong cloth, and you can't do it with the Solly baby, and then you can wear baby on your back. But I haven't forayed into that. That just is complicated, and you need a spotter, and you need practice, and it's like the whole thing. So when baby has more head control and can like sit up, then you can put baby on your back. That's for later. This is newborn essentials, but when that day comes, I highly, highly, highly recommend the Sakura Bloom carriers. So they have the Scout, which is great. It's like a backpack or a front carry. That one does both. But I don't front carry with that one because again, it's like, it's not a racerback. You can pull the little strap, but it just doesn't work for my physiology. So it might work for you. A lot of people have the straight straps and then they just cinch it, but depending on how your body is. And the Obonomio is also a good carrier. I probably should have gotten that one for back carrying because then they carry a little bit higher and then there's no center strap. But at the moment I don't feel like buying another Sakura Bloom carrier because they're super expensive. But I have been very happy with the Scout for back carrying, but that's later. You're in newborn land. And the thing about carriers is, honestly, you're going to have to find the shoe that fits. You really are. What I'm suggesting might not work for you. You might prefer a different carrier. There's a lot of videos online about the like pros and cons of the different carriers. I definitely recommend that you do research about this. And then also you're just gonna have to try different ones and have some mom friends, because the ones that you don't use, you can like swap in between, and then, because they're expensive, they can be expensive. It's always great to get hand-me-down carriers. It's always great to have mom friends because these things are expensive, or to go to consignment shops so you can find used ones because these things are usually pretty durable and they last. So voila, baby carrying, definitely recommend it. Next up, so if you're kind of like a Montessori mama, which we are more Montessori-ish parents, you want your baby to be kind of free, able to kick and like live his best life. And so I highly recommend the Hugo mat. Now the Hugo mat was a gift. It's $1 billion, but it is very fantastic. So definitely put this on your registry, mama. I really recommend the Hugo mat. We've absolutely loved it. It folds in half so you can move it around super easily. It's plush, you can wash the outside, but again, it's $1 million. So put it on your registry. You'll need somewhere to put baby. Now, you could get a Mamaroo, you could get like baby bouncer things. We don't really do that. We had a Mamaroo with Edgar as a loan, and it was helpful. The thing about having 2 kids, however, just as a side note, sorry this is rambly, but my full-time job is keeping my baby safe from my 2-year-old. But if you're a first-time mom, you don't have to deal with that. So baby can just contentedly get to know his legs and arms, or her legs and arms, on a playmat and do tummy time. Hugo mat's great for tummy time, and you'll need something. I mean, you could I mean, you could put your baby on the carpet. You know, you could put them on the ground. That's a choice. I want a little plusher of a surface for the baby, but you do you. So next up is the Snuggle Me Organic. I've spoken about this before. It's fantastic. I love it. It's perfect for newborn days. Now I still use it now, and my baby's almost 5 months. Like if I need to take a shower, like, and I don't want him to move around, and then, you know, it's kind of like snuggles him, so he's good. But it's really, really good for the newborn phase because they can take naps in it. And if you are like a co-sleeper, they're fantastic. We're not co-sleepers for many reasons. I know tons of my friends are. It's very crunchy. I'm crunchy, but we don't choose to co-sleep for several reasons. But some of my closest friends do, so I love you. Rock on with your bad self. The Snuggle Me allows me to co-sleep with my baby for the first week, which is what we generally do because, you know, they just came out of you. They're like part of you. So having them right next to you is fantastic. But the Snuggle Me kind of like differentiates them, and then you can put them like on top of the bed and you don't have to worry about the covers getting on them. You also have like, you know, the ability to sleep without like rolling on them. I know. My midwife's like, you're never gonna roll on your baby. You're just never gonna roll on your baby. It's just a maternity thing. And I'm like, yes, but I'm gonna worry about rolling on my baby, which keeps me up at night. And if I cannot sleep, then, you know, the key to parenting is sleeping. If you do not have sleep, you cannot parent well. All this advice is just out the window if you're not sleeping. It's just everything. Sleeping is everything. So therefore, finding a configuration that works for you is super important. But anyway, let's move on to where baby does sleep. What works for us is, so baby's in the Snuggle Me, and then for us, we move baby right next to me. So baby's right there, but in a bassinet. Then I can get out of bed without being like super ninja. I'm still super ninja. But less so if baby's sleeping on the same thing. Because like if baby's in your bed and you need to get up and go pee, and you do, because if you're nursing, you need to drink copious amounts of water, then you have to be super ninja about it. But then you also have to turn to the side and be really careful and all this kind of stuff. So baby's right next to me, but not on the same thing. In the design, do a bassinet. I really like this bassinet. It's so beautiful, but functionality wise, here's why I like it. It rocks. You can get a rocker, which is super helpful in the middle of the night when your baby has already nursed ad nauseum and you're like, you're not hungry and you're super tired, and you know, you could hold them and rock them, you know, for a while, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And then just rocking them in the bassinet for us has been fantastic, super helpful. So it rocks, it's beautiful. You can use it for, if you have a large enough house, which we don't, but one day, if you're like children have larger bedrooms, it's perfect for toys and books and things like that. So we will use it one day for that. But in the meantime, this is the second child we've used it with. It's beautiful. Definitely, if you're vegan, look for the vegan bassinet, because they do have ones with leather handles. We have one with like fiber handles and not leather handles. If you'd like me to make a video about baby sleep and like how we've approached that and how we do it in a, you know, loving attachment way, but that works, let me know. I can make a video about that, because like I said, it's the thing. We've actually had pretty good luck with sleep with our boys, which is amazing. With my first son, it was like, okay, this is a fluke, maybe this is a fluke. But then with second child, I feel a little bit more, I don't know, assured that what we're doing is working and it's not just like a fluke, which is great. Okay, so lastly, for where to put baby is the car seat. You need a car seat if you have a car. Now, I don't have a stroller category because for us, we chose to go with the Duna with my first baby, and we're using it with my second baby. And you know, it was, I've spoken about this before, but for my husband, it was a total no-brainer. It's like one gadget that does two functions, sold. And the Duna does just that. So it's a car seat that goes, and then you can take it out and open the legs, the wheels, and it becomes a stroller. Now, is it the best stroller? No. Is it the best car seat? Maybe not. But since it does both of those things quite well, it's a real winner. It's a real winner. Like, it doesn't have the smoothest ride, you know? It doesn't have storage underneath it because it has to put the wheels under there to go into the car. So there are pros and cons. It depends on your needs, right? So for us, as minimalists, one thing that does two things is very, very important. Furthermore, it travels really well. So it's small, it's a stroller and a car seat, again, so it travels really well, does two things when you're traveling. So you can put a base in your car so it's really easy to put in, but then you can also use it with a seat belt. Like, it's configured in such a way that you can use the Duna in any car. So I'm a big believer in the Duna. It's like the minimalist dream. So a few things about car seats and strollers that I want to talk about. If you are vegan and you're watching this, you have to be careful for leather and wool. So for example, two of the big brands, like Up a Baby is a big brand. Now, they have leather handles, so if you are vegan, you're gonna want to avoid that. And the Nuna is also a fantastic car seat, and it has merino wool in it. They're like, we have merino wool. I'm like, I don't want you then. But if you're not vegan, that's a moot point. But if you are, then definitely be aware of that, because yeah, they like to throw leather in there to seem posh, which is frustrating. And lastly, if you are a first-time mom, you're probably deliberating between the bassinets. Are you going to get a bassinet stroller? Because in the beginning, you know, they're just babies. And the thing is, here's the thing. We consider getting a bassinet, which is great because then they're more like, they're hanging out, right? They're not like in this car seat in a position. However, we baby wear so much, so when baby comes out of the car, you know, we usually wear baby. So for us, the bassinet, not only is it only gonna fit your baby for a couple months, so it's a big expense for only a couple months, but also if you're gonna be wearing baby anyway, it doesn't really make as much sense, right? And the idea, of course, is that you don't want your baby to be in the stroller car seat for too long, for sure. So if you are going to get the Nuna, you want to keep that in mind. Obviously, you don't want baby to be in that little shape for too long. But sometimes you need to take baby out of the car and go somewhere, and it's a lot easier, especially if you have another child, to just stroll them in. So, you know, find what works for you. So the next category is feeding your baby. So if you can breastfeed, my #1 tip for you is silverettes. Unexpected, right? They are my holy grail because they protect your nipples, and in the beginning, oh my gosh, they're fireballs, they're just so painful. And the silverettes provide a protective little shield, and silver is also supposed to be really good for like healing them in the beginning. Guys, get the silverettes, like seriously, if you're going to nurse, if you have the beautiful opportunity to do so, get silverettes. #1, I got overconfident this time around, and after like a month, I was like, okay, I'm tired of looking like a fembot, right? And I didn't wear them for a few days. Guess what happened? I got a bleb. I got a bleb. And I'm not gonna tell you about that because it's just excruciating. I'm gonna let you look that up on the internet, but I didn't do it with like a needle. Silverettes. Like, I'm still wearing them now. Maybe I'm overdoing it. So except for like my ballet class where I wear a leotard and so you can't wear silverettes, it would just be absurd. I put them back on. Like, I put them back on and I wear them still. My baby's almost 5 months. I should probably, I don't know, maybe I'll stop. But they just have been such a godsend to protecting that. And this is like my baby's food source. So when I had that bleb and it was like all blocked up, and it was just like excruciating. And in the beginning days, nursing or feeding your baby, however you can do that, it's crucial. It's everything. You want your baby to gain weight. So if you are feeding your baby with your body is so important. You really have to take care of your body because it's everything to your baby, right? So next up is the Haka hand pump. Now, this time around has been so much better. Hallelujah. With nursing and okay, my camera died. I'm back. So this time around, nursing has been a dream compared to the first time where, you know, I didn't know I was a good producer, so I was over pumping to make sure that I didn't lose my supply, to make sure everything was okay. I had like stockpiling milk just so that I didn't have to ever, you know, try to get donor milk or whatever. So it was very, very stressful. It was horrible. It was horrible. In the beginning, it was super painful and I was sobbing hysterically. I mean, it's a whole thing. We talked about it before. So I was using like a medical pump, like a big pump. And this time around, now that I know I'm a good producer, I have chosen to not pump. I do not pump. I only haka. I only do a hand expression thing, which has been a real dream. I just let my baby lead the way. I feed my baby. If I need to express a bit, I can do it with the haka. It's very easy to use. It's transportable. It's been so, so fantastic because I just know what I'm doing this time. I have more confidence, so I'm not as like nervous and worried about it. I know that my baby's gonna lead the way. I know that my body's going to produce, and then if he does sleep the whole night, which sometimes he will Actually, most of the time he does, depending. He goes through phases. And if he does, then I can get up and I can express a bit so that I don't explode and so that I don't get clogged ducts or mastitis. It's really important to make sure that the milk is flowing. And the Haka is fantastic for that. You can just express a little bit to relieve the pressure, and you can also use it as a milk catcher. Again, one gadget that does multiple things. Like if you want to have a milk catcher, I had milk catchers the first time around, right? But now they're just sitting in a box, right? I should probably give them away. Because the idea is with all this gear that comes with having children, it can be really overwhelming. And if you're striving to have less stuff, less clutter, you really want to find something that does multiple things, and the Haka does that. It's just fantastic. It travels well, it's tiny, it's not electronic, doesn't need to plug in. I swear by it. Thank you to my friend Katie for giving me that the first time around. The first time around I didn't even really get it, and so I didn't use it as it needs to be used. And the second time around I'm like, I'm a believer. Now if you have to bottle feed, I realize that you're gonna need a lot more gear, but since I'm nursing, that's what I can speak about here. So I'm sure that there are some videos that can help you with that and talking about the essentials of what you would need for bottle feeding. Okay, so let's really quickly talk about elimination. So I can make a whole video about elimination communication and that whole thing, but if you are using diapers, and we are, because you know we did elimination communication with Edgar quite a bit, and you can look that up, I'll link it. And he's now largely potty trained at just over 2, except for naps and nighttime. But unless you're religious about it, you're gonna need diapers. And we were not religious about it, which is why, you know, he wasn't potty trained by walking like some of the no diaper people talk about, which is great if you can do that. You know, like every single time, here's the potty, potty, holding them over the potty nonstop. But especially with 2 kids, it's, you know, it's a little tricky. And so you're probably going to need diapers. I highly recommend coterie diapers. Now, coterie diapers are softer, they're more minimalist, they work the best, they're just very expensive. That's the only downside, but they are fantastic. I swear by them. They're clean. Again, you choose where you want to spend your money, but if you are minimal, then you can go for like a higher quality if you only have, you know what I mean? So you choose. You pick and choose where you spend your money and whatnot, but they're the best. We've tried. In our opinion, they're the best. My midwife gave me some diaper, you know, the compostable ones, newborn diapers, when I was pregnant with my second child with Ernest, and I was like, cool, free diapers, okay, cool. They were horrible. Oh my gosh, I had to put 2 on my baby, and they were like decomposing on his bum. It was like, oh my gosh, like the diaper with the Y, the compostable ones, they were so bad. It was horrible. I had to change my baby 65 times a day. There you go again, 65. And the diapers were just like spilling everywhere and decomposing on his bum. It was just horrible. So anyway, we got back to coterie, and life's good. So I highly recommend coterie. If it's within your budget or whatever, put it on your registry. Okay, both my babies need me here, so just really quickly, my last tip is to lap it up. If you are a first-time mom, lap up the registry and the baby showers and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, they say every baby comes with a pot of gold. Every first baby comes with a pot of gold. People are just, I mean, I was so overwhelmed with joy at how lovely and generous, and people were popping out of the woodwork that I hadn't seen forever to, you know, send love and all sorts of gifts and books and things for baby number 1, and it was wonderful. So lap that up if you're a first-time mama, because the second time around, no one cares. Everyone's like, oh, you have a baby, oh yay, you're having a second baby, yay. But like, I mean, they assume that obviously you have all the stuff you need mostly, but I'm not talking about stuff necessarily. I'm talking more about like attention, like if you like that kind of attention, and I certainly do. You know, just honestly, I love it when people check in with me and are like, oh my gosh, baby, yay. Like I love that. And with second baby, it was different. It was totally different. So if you are a first-time mama, just lap it up, because if you're going to have subsequent children, it's possible that, you know, you'll just be like, guys, I'm having a baby. It's just, anyway, just a note. Those are my minimalist newborn essential tips. I hope that this video was helpful to you. Of course, if it was, definitely like and subscribe for future content. I love it when you do. It means so much for my channel, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next time on Veggie Magnifique TV. Bye!